You wake up before the sun does. The village is still quiet, wrapped in the early mist that hugs the Nile like an old friend. You stretch, scratch your head, and shuffle out of the straw mat you call a bed. Another day in the life of a village girl in ancient Egypt. The air smells like river water, damp reeds, and the faint smoke from someone already cooking something 2 huts over. Your mama is already up, of course. She's been up for hours probably. She's grinding grain with the same rhythm she's had since before you were born. You once asked her if her hands ever get tired. She just looked at you and said, "I'll rest when I'm dead." Comforting. Your little brother is snoring beside you, mouth wide open like a caught fish. You kick him gently. He grunts and keeps sleeping. Typical. You step outside and the world opens up wide skies, golden light stretching over the river, birds hopping around looking for trouble, and a few other villagers already out and about, carrying baskets or water jars on their heads like it's a competition. Life here isn't bad. It's simple. You've got chores, of course, fetching water, feeding the goats, helping mama, trying not to let your sandals fall apart again. But there's laughter too. There's the fishmonger who always tries to flirt with your neighbor, the one who claims he once kissed a priestess. There's the traveling merchant with only 2 teeth who always brings spices from somewhere very far, though no one's really sure he ever leaves the next town over. And then there's the Nile. The river is everything. You drink from it, wash in it, curse at it when it floods, and thank it when it doesn't. It's got a rhythm of its own, like it's alive. Some say the Nile listens. That it knows secrets, that it remembers things. You believe that, sort of. When you're not busy, you love sitting by the edge, feet in the water, trying to guess what kind of fish just swam past. Your best friend, Nanny, swears she saw a crocodile once. She also swears she's going to marry a prince and own 10 cats, so you take her words with a grain of salt. But Nanny's not the only one who dreams big. Lately, you've been hearing whispers, not the wind, and the reeds kind of whisper. Real ones from people grow. Nups even, quiet conversations that stop when you walk into the room. Words like palace, selection, chosen. They don't say much, but they don't have to. You're good at listening. You know there's something going on. Your aunt, the one with the sharp eyes and sharper tongue, once said that every few years the palace sends people out. Not soldiers, not tax collectors, special people. They go from village to village looking for girls, pretty girls, talented girls, girls who catch their eye, and if they like you, they take you, not in a scary way, more like sweeping you away, like a breeze that takes a flower petal far, far down the river. Some girls become servants, some train in music or healing, some, and this is the juicy part, some get taken to the royal harem. You're not exactly sure what a harem is. You just know it's inside the palace. It's secret. It's only for women and the Pharaoh. The way the older women talk about it, you'd think it was a mix between heaven, prison, and a gossip festival. They say the girls there wear gold and perfume that smells like moonlight, that they bathe in milk and sleep on feathered beds, that they learn how to walk like goddesses and speak in riddles. One old lady swore the girls even get to eat figs every single day. Figs every day. That alone seems worth it. But there are darker whispers too. Some say the harem is a cage, that once you go in, you don't come out, that you're not allowed to write letters, not even to your own mother, that the Pharaoh owns everything about you, your time, your body, your future. But then again, who wouldn't want to be close to the Pharaoh? He's more than a man, he's a god on earth. At least that's what the temple priests say. And they'd know, right? You've never seen the Pharaoh, only drawings and statues. In those, he always looks serious, fancy headdress, gold jewelry, eyeliner that's way too perfect. Nanny says he's probably handsome. You say, sure, but does he snore? That makes her laugh. Still, you wonder, would he notice a girl like you, with your son? Brown skin, your chipped tooth from that fall last year, your slightly crooked toe. You're not ugly. People say you have nice eyes, but you're not carved from stone beautiful either. You're just, you But the scouts don't always pick the most beautiful girls. Sometimes they pick the clever ones, or the ones who can sing, or the ones who just have something. You don't know what something is, but you secretly hope you have it. Later that afternoon, while you're helping Mama sort lentils, a very exciting activity, as you can imagine, your uncle comes running into the yard. He's breathless and flapping his arms like a chicken. Mama stands up so fast she knocks over the bowl. They're here. He gasps. The Royal Scouts. 3 of them. They've already visited the river village. Your stomach flips. Mama looks at you with wide eyes, then down at your dusty feet, your wrinkled tunic, the smear of dirt on your cheek. Go wash, she says. Now. You run to the river so fast you nearly trip over a goat. At the water's edge, you scrub your face, your hands, your arms. You pull off your tunic and shake it out, then try to smooth it down like it isn't 2 years old and stained with lentil juice. You tie your hair back with a strip of cloth that used to belong to your older sister. She got married last year and now lives 2 villages away. You miss her. She always said you'd do something important one day. Back at home, Mama is trying to act casual, but you can tell she's nervous. She makes you sit up straight, puts a dab of something sweets, melling on your wrist. She calls it home-made perfume, but it smells suspiciously like mashed fig and tells you to smile but not too much. Don't look desperate. Thanks, Mama. The scouts arrive just before sunset, 3 of them, 1 woman, tall and quiet, with a face like carved ivory, 1 young man with a scroll and a lot of pens, and 1 older man with a gold armband and eyes that don't miss a thing. They walk through the village like they've done this 1,000 times. Some girls try to show off dancing, singing, twirling their braids. Others hide behind their mothers. You just sit there, heart thumping, trying to look. Whatever chosen looks like. When the tall woman finally stops in front of you, you forget how to breathe. She looks at you for a long moment, then nods. You don't know what it means, but you feel something shift. Like the river has decided to carry you somewhere new. That night, you can't sleep. Nanny is buzzing with questions. Did they really look at you? What did they say? Are you leaving? Can I come too? You just lie there, staring at the ceiling, wondering if you're about to become a servant, or a secret, or something in between. You're not sure what's coming, but you feel it, and deep down, under all the nerves and questions and wild dreams, you're a little excited. After all, not every girl gets to chase a whisper from the Nile. And you're just getting started. You wake up to shouting, not angry shouting, more like excited, panicked, run around, and trip over the goat kind of shouting, which is honestly not that rare around here. But today it feels different. You stumble outside, rubbing your eyes, and there's already a small crowd gathering near the edge of the village. Your mama is there, standing with her arms crossed and her hair tied up like she's expecting trouble. A few women are whispering loudly, kids are being herded indoors, Nanny is practically vibrating. They're doing it. She whispers the census with the scouts. You blink. Today. Your stomach does a little somersault. You thought you had more time. You thought maybe it was a rumor, like the one about the priest who turned into a cat. But no, this is real. The royal census isn't just about counting people. It's not just how many goats live here, or how many kids under 10. It's also when the palace sends out their scouts, the ones who look for the best, brightest, prettiest girls. And if they like what they see, they choose. No begging, no bribing, just one quiet nod and boom, your palace. Bound. And now they're here, in your village, today. You wipe the sleep from your eyes and try to remember if you brushed your hair yesterday. Probably not. The scouts arrive by boat. 3 long, beautiful ones with blue, painted sides and fancy gold designs on the front. Everything about them says not from around here. A small group steps off, and immediately everyone quiets down. Even the chickens seem to stop clucking. There's a scribe who starts asking questions and writing down names on a long scroll. There's a man in layered linen robes with an amulet the size of your fist, clearly the important one. And then there's her, the scout. She's tall, elegant, hair braided with beads, skin like polished bronze. She wears no jewelry except for a single lappy's ring, but somehow she looks more royal than half the statues you've ever seen. She walks through the village slowly, eyes scanning faces like she's reading a story in each one. You try not to look at her too directly, but it's hard not to. Everyone's watching her, holding their breath. When she gets near you, your heart does this strange little skip. You're suddenly aware of how dusty your feet are, and how your tunic is slightly too short ever since your last growth spurt. You wonder if you should smile or wave. No, definitely not wave. She looks at you for exactly 3 seconds, then moves on. You feel like a squeezed lemon, but then something wild happens. Just as she passes, the man with the scroll glances back at you. He murmurs something. The woman pauses, looks again, and this time she nods. That's it, one nod, not a word, not a smile, but everything changes. Mama doesn't speak for a long time after they leave, just stands in the doorway, arms crossed, lips pressed tight. Your brother keeps asking if you're going to be a princess now. Your uncle offers to trade you for 2 goats and a bag of lentils if the palace is interested. Later that evening, the official summons arrives. Rolled parchment, tied with red thread, stamped with the royal seal. Your name is on it. Your mama cries that night, quietly in the corner when she thinks you're not looking. She's proud. She's scared. She doesn't say much, but her eyes say everything. You go sit beside her and lean your head on her shoulder. She strokes your hair like she used to when you were little. You don't sleep much. In the morning you're up before the sun. Again, but this time there's a packed bag waiting. A simple tunic, some dried figs, a piece of charcoal, and your sister's old necklace, the one she wore at her wedding. Mama hugs you so tight your ribs complain. Nanny won't stop crying, but she also insists on giving you her favorite bracelet. It's made of string and seashells. It doesn't match anything, and the shells are chipped, but you wear it like it's gold. The boat arrives just after breakfast. It's larger than you expected. Polished wood, linen canopy, big enough for a dozen girls, though today there are only 4 of you. You recognize one from the next village over. She looks nervous too. As the boat pulls away from the dock, you feel your stomach twist. The shore gets smaller. Your family stands waving, all of them except your brother, who's probably off chasing a lizard somewhere. You wave back until you can't see them anymore, and then you cry, just a little, quietly, behind your hand. The scout woman is on the boat too. She doesn't talk much, just sits at the front, watching the river. But every now and then she glances back at you girls, not unkindly, just watching. The Nile stretches out before you like a long, winding path. You pass fields of papyrus, fishermen casting their nets, crocodiles sunning on the banks like sleepy logs. The air is warm, the breeze soft. You try to memorize every detail in case you never come back. By midday the girls start talking, nervous chatter. One says she heard the palace has rooms made of silver. Another swears that if you catch the Pharaoh's eye, he gives you a pet leopard. A leopard. You try not to laugh. You wonder what Thebes will be like, or maybe Memphis. No one told you which city you're headed to. Probably Thebes. It's the religious capital. Big temples, bigger secrets. You've never seen a city before. Your whole world until now has been huts and reeds, and the same 15 faces every day. Now you're headed towards stone columns, towers that touch the sky, people who speak 5 languages, and streets that never sleep. You try to picture the palace. Is it quiet, loud? Does it smell like lotus flowers or wet stone? Do they let you read? Can you write letters? Is it lonely? Can you ever come home? By sunset, your boat pulls into a much larger dock. Soldiers wait at the edge, but they're not scary, more bored than anything. The scout speaks to one of them, and you catch the word, Thebes. Okay, Thebes it is. You're led off the boat through a massive stone gate and into the city. It's like stepping into another world. There are people everywhere, vendors shouting, carts rolling past, musicians playing, children running barefoot across polished stone paths. Everything smells like spices, sweat, and roasted garlic. You pass by a man painting tiny hieroglyphs onto a wall, a woman with a monkey on her shoulder, and what may or may not be a dancing priest. The girls gasp. One actually squeals. You're trying to take it all in without tripping over your own feet. Eventually, you're led through another gate, this one carved with gods and animals, and into a quieter area. Trees line the paths. Pools shimmer in the low light. The buildings are clean, symmetrical, and quiet. This is where the harem begins. It doesn't look like a prison. It looks like a secret garden, peaceful, pretty, with white linen curtains blowing in the breeze and guards who look half asleep. You're taken into a smaller room, soft cushions, a copper basin of cool water, and a kind-looking woman with grey streaks in her hair. She asks your name, then she asks if you're hungry. You are. She smiles. Good, she says. That means you'll survive this. She gives you a slice of honey cake. It's the best thing you've ever tasted. Later, someone brings you to a small room, your own room, not big, but clean. A little window, a mat, a place to store things. You even have a small mirror made of polished bronze. You stare into it, half expecting to see someone else. But nope, still you, still the girl from the village. Just somewhere else now. Before bed, you lie back on your mat and stare at the ceiling. You can hear water trickling in a nearby fountain. Someone is humming softly in the room next door. The city buzzes faintly beyond the walls. It hits you then. You're here, really here, and your life, the one with goats and lentils and lazy river days, is over. What comes next? You don't know, but you're ready to find out. You wake up to the smell of flowers. Not wild ones, like back home by the river. No, these smell expensive, like they were picked by someone wearing gold rings. The kind of flowers that don't grow just anywhere. The kind that get steeped in oils and turned into perfumes with names like Dream of Bastet or Whispers of the Nile. Fancy, your room is still quiet, soft with early morning light. You blink a few times just to remind yourself this isn't a dream. Still here, still in the palace, still definitely not back in the village chasing chickens or helping Mama sort lentils. A soft knock on your door. Then it opens. A girl steps in, tall, elegant, older than you by a few years. She's wearing a soft blue tunic and has her hair done in dozens of tiny braids, tied with golden thread. She looks like one of those painted figures on temple walls. She smiles. Time to join the others. We start with breakfast, then introductions, then lessons. You nod, trying to sit up with grace, but your legs get tangled in your mat and you end up doing a weird half roll instead. She tries not to laugh. You both pretend it didn't happen. She leads you out into the hallway, and wow, this place really is something. The harem complex is like its own secret city inside the palace. There are long halls with painted ceilings, quiet courtyards full of lilies and small fountains, and soft cushions just randomly placed everywhere like someone said, "You know what this floor needs, a nap spot," and they weren't wrong. Girls are everywhere, some walking in pairs, whispering and giggling, some sitting under trees, brushing each other's hair or reading from scrolls. Some just lying back on cushions like life is one long festival. It's beautiful here, no doubt, but you also feel the quiet weight of it, the rules, the expectations, the eyes that might be watching even when you think you're alone. Everything feels soft, but sharp. Like a pretty dagger, at breakfast you meet the others, well, more of them. Turns out there are lots of girls here, dozens, maybe hundreds, all from different places, some from noble families, some, like you, picked from small villages. Some who have been here for years, some who just arrived last week and still look like they might bolt at any second. Everyone seems to know the system. You can feel it. There's a hierarchy, an invisible one, but strong. The senior girls walk with that quiet confidence, like they've earned their spot. They get better rooms, better oils, probably more figs. You don't ask, you just watch. Then there are the mid-level ones, not new, not top tier, just solid. They tend to stick together, laugh loudly, give advice even when you don't ask for it. And then there are the fresh ones, like you, knew why, died slightly confused. The ones who still say thank you to everyone and keep their hands folded neatly in their lap. That's your group now. After breakfast, which, by the way, includes honeyed dates, fresh bread, soft cheese, and something called melon water. That makes you want to cry happy tears. You're led to what they call the learning chamber. You expected scrolls, maybe a stern old lady with a stick. What you get is a room with music playing softly, woven mats on the floor, a row of small mirrors, and a set of low stools arranged in a perfect crescent. "Welcome to the house of beauties," says a voice. You turn. Another woman walks in, not the same one from earlier. This one is short, with kind eyes and a voice like silk. She introduces herself as Sarah, your teacher. "But you can just call me Sarah," she says. "No need for all that bowing business, unless you spill something, in which case bow away." A few girls giggle. You smile, feeling a little more at ease. Sarah explains that here, beauty is not just about looks. It's about presence, skill, grace, knowing how to be seen and how to disappear. This isn't just a place for decoration. She says, "You're not a flower, you're a force." She claps her hands once, and just like that, lessons begin. First, it's posture, which sounds boring until you realize it's a full body workout. Back straight, chin tilted just so, shoulders down but not slouched, hands relaxed but not limp. And yes, you'll be doing it while balancing a small bowl of water on your head. You fail many times, but so do most of the others, which helps. Next comes walking. Not too fast, not too slow. Sarah instructs. You must walk like the Nile, graceful, steady, but with depth. You're not totally sure what that means, but you try your best. You only trip twice. Then it's music. Each of you is handed a simple instrument, a small harp, a drum, a rattle, a flute. You get the rattle, mostly because they ran out of harps. You're a little jealous until you realize the rattle is actually harder than it looks. You start off sounding like a scared beetle in a jar, but eventually get a rhythm going. Kinda. After music, there's scent training. Yes, that's a thing. You're shown trays of oils: lotus, myrrh, cedar, cinnamon, mint, blue lily. Each one smells like magic. Sarah teaches you how to mix them for different moods. This one is calming, she says, waving a tiny bottle under your nose. Good for when the queen is nearby and your brain wants to scream. You make your own blend. Yours smells like orange peel, a little bit of rose, and maybe too much frankincense, but hey, it's yours. You tuck the tiny jar in your belt like a trophy. Then comes etiquette. This is where things get serious. How to bow, how to pour wine without spilling, how to speak softly but clearly, how to answer a question without actually answering it, how to never, ever show boredom even if someone is talking about wheat taxes for an hour. You also learn the different titles, who ranks where, how to greet them, and who you're allowed to look directly in the eyes. Hint, not many. By the end of the day, your brain is mush. You didn't think being beautiful and polite could be so exhausting. You want nothing more than to collapse on your mat and sleep for a week. But there's one more thing. Before you're dismissed, Sarah gives a short talk. She tells you that this life is a mix of mystery and purpose. That the palace is a place of power, but power is a tricky thing. It doesn't always look like a crown or a throne. Sometimes it looks like a quiet word, a perfectly timed smile, a girl in the corner who knows exactly what to say and when to say it. Don't just survive here, she says. Learn, watch, grow. There's more going on than you see, always more. Her eyes meet yours. You get the feeling she's talking directly to you, or maybe that's just wishful thinking. Either way, your heart pounds a little faster. That night, you lie in your little room, staring up at the stars through your tiny window. Your muscles ache in places you didn't know existed. Your feet are sore. Your head is full of posture and perfume, and the weird flute song that one girl kept playing wrong. But you feel something else, too, pride. You made it through the first day. You didn't cry. You didn't trip too badly. You didn't break anything, and more than that you learned something. This place isn't just pretty walls and soft beds. It's alive. It has rules, layers, secrets. You're not just a girl from a village anymore. You're a student in the house of Beauties, and maybe, just maybe, you'll turn out to be more than anyone expected. You smile to yourself, and fall asleep to the scent of blue lotus and the distant sound of laughter echoing down the marble halls. The hall is quiet now, no music, no chatter, no sandals slapping on marble floors, just the low hum of crickets outside your window and the soft drip, drip of a fountain somewhere nearby. You're lying on your bed, or whatever counts as a bed in the palace. It's softer than you're used to, sure, clean, neatly folded linen, woven mat, small pillow that smells faintly like rose petals. Luxury, yes, but still strange. You roll over, then roll back. Your brain refuses to shut up. All day you were busy. You barely had time to blink. One class after another. New faces, new rules, new perfumes. Now that it's quiet, it's like everything hits you all at once. You're here in a palace. A real one, and you're alone. Not that you're the only person in the building, far from it. There are girls in every hallway, guards outside every gate, teachers, servants, priests, cats. There's probably a priest for cats, honestly. But none of them are your people, not like your family, not like Mama or Nanny or that grumpy uncle who always smelled like onions and insisted you'd grow up to be just like your cousin Izzet. You're not like Izzet. You're here, and suddenly, being here feels heavy. You sit up and pull your knees to your chest, hugging them like they're the last familiar thing in the room. You don't cry, not yet, but your throat feels tight. You wish someone would knock on the door, say, "Hey, want some dates?" Or let's sneak to the kitchen and steal honey. Something small, something normal, but there's just silence. You remember what the teacher said earlier. Some of you were chosen for luck. You're still trying to decide if she meant good luck or the oops. Guess you're here now, kind. A soft breeze moves through the little window. You can hear the Nile in the distance, slow and steady, like it's been for thousands of years. It makes you think of home, the reeds, the goats, the smell of river mud in your sandals. You never thought you'd miss that. You lie back down and stare at the ceiling. Tomorrow you'll have more classes, more practice, more eyes watching you. But tonight is just yours until someone knocks. You sit up fast, heart racing. Was that real? Another soft knock. You cross the room and open the door just a little. It's Seema, the small, sharp-tongued girl from earlier. She's holding a jar of something and wearing a sheepish smile. "I brought this," she says, "for our feet. My grandma swore by it. Smells terrible, but makes you feel like a queen." You blink. "You made foot balm. Don't sound so surprised." She grins. "My village was boring. We had to invent fun." You open the door all the way. "Come in." She flops down on your mat like she's done it 100 times and starts rubbing the balm on her heels. "It really does smell bad. Like garlic and mint had a fight and cinnamon lost the battle. Still, it's comforting. First day's the hardest," she says. "Well, maybe the first month. But after that, you either figure it out or learn to fake it." "Do you miss home?" you ask her. She shrugs, sometimes, mostly the food and my brother's bad jokes. You nod. You talk for a while about everything and nothing. You find out she used to collect shiny beetle shells. You tell her you once tried to ride a donkey and it threw you into a ditch. She laughs so hard she snorts. You feel your shoulders relax for the first time all day. After she leaves, the room doesn't feel quite so cold. You lie back down. Your feet smell like garlic. but your heart feels warmer. A little later, there's another knock, this time from one of the older attendants. She's graceful, quiet, and carries herself like a woman who's seen everything and decided most of it isn't worth reacting to. "Bath time," she says simply. You blink. "I already bathed this morning." She raises an eyebrow. "This one's different." She leads you down a side hallway one you didn't notice before. It's dimly lit with small clay lamps on the walls and a soft humming sound in the distance. Further you walk, the quieter it gets, like the very air is telling you to hush. Then you reach it, the bath chamber. It's not a pool, not really. More like a sacred pond trapped in a room of polished stone and gold, veined columns. There are small fountains feeding warm water into the pool, and the steam smells like blue lotus and fresh herbs. Light filters down through a carved ceiling, painting soft patterns on the water. You stand there for a second, unsure what to do. The attendant smiles faintly. It's for reflection, cleansing. You don't rush this one. You undress slowly and step in. The water is perfect warm, silky, deep enough to float but shallow enough to feel safe. You sink in up to your shoulders and close your eyes. Silence. For the first time, real silence. You feel the weight of the day slide off your skin. Not just dirt and dust, but all the tiny moments, the nervous smiles, the stares from older girls, the pressure to remember every rule, every name. All of it just melts. After a while, the attendant returns with a small dish of oil. She doesn't speak, just places it by the water's edge and leaves again. You climb out and dry off with a cloth so soft it feels like air. You sit cross-legged on a stool and open the dish. The oil smells divine, sweet and sharp at the same time, with a hint of something ancient, myrrh maybe, or something even older. You rub it into your arms, your shoulders, your collarbone. Slowly, like a ritual, it soaks into your skin like you're feeding it something it's been missing. You're not used to being treated like this, not like a person, but like a treasure. It's both nice and weird. You return to your room feeling like you've just walked out of a temple, but the emotions are still there, sitting quietly in your chest. You're not scared, exactly, but you're not comfortable yet, either. You miss your family, you miss knowing what comes next. Out there, your days were always the same, predictable, safe. Here, every moment could change your life. You could rise, you could fall, you could be forgotten, or remembered forever. And that's the wild part, isn't it? No one knows your name yet, but maybe, just maybe, they will. You climb into bed, body warm, skin soft, thoughts spinning. In the hallway, you hear someone humming. Another girl, maybe one of the seniors. The song is slow and sweet and wordless. You don't know it, but it feels familiar, somehow like something your mother might have sung when you were small. You close your eyes and breathe in the last scent of the sacred oil on your wrist. You don't know what tomorrow will bring, but tonight you're here, you're still you, and that's enough. They tell you not to call it a prison, and honestly, it doesn't look like one. There are gardens here, full of lilies and date palms. There are courtyards with soft cushions, flowing fabrics, and people brushing each other's hair while laughing softly. There are rooms that smell like fruit and cinnamon, and windows that let in sunlight filtered through golden curtains. So yeah, it's not a prison, but it's also not just some love nest for the Pharaoh. That's the first thing you figure out when you're finally allowed into the middle courtyard. That's where the older girls hang out. The ones who have been here longer than a season, the ones who know things. You overhear one of them talking to a girl from another house. "We're not here to lie around waiting for love," she says. "This place runs deeper than desire. The harem is its own kingdom." That line sticks with you. Because honestly, you'd thought the harem was just where the Pharaoh kept the girls he liked to look at. That's what the rumors back home always said. But now that you're inside it, living and breathing the same air as the people who really know what's going on, you start to understand. This isn't just about beauty. This is about power. Not the loud kind, not soldiers, not thrones, not crowds chanting your name. This is the quiet kind, the kind that whispers instead of shouts, the kind that happens in hallways and private gardens and moments when no one else is listening. And the women here, some of them are learning how to wield it. It takes you a while to notice all the other people who move through the harem. At first, you just see the girls. But once your eyes get used to the rhythm of the place, you begin to spot them, the priestesses, the healers, the eunuchs. The priestesses are the ones with shaved heads and long robes. They walk like their feet don't touch the ground, and they're always whispering to each other in languages you don't understand. Some of them live here full-time, some just visit, but every time they pass, girls step aside and bow. There from the temple of Hathor, Seema whispers to you one morning, they bless the oils, watch our dreams. Some say they even choose who gets to serve the queen. You don't know if that's true, but you do notice that whenever they're around, people behave. Then there are the physicians, not all men, some women too. They check on the girls, bring herbal pastes, whisper about fevers and heat rashes. They teach you what herbs calm the stomach, which ones help with bruises, and what not to eat before dancing class unless you want to regret every bite. You meet one named Nenet, a woman with a crooked smile and a belt full of strange tools. She helps you when you twist your ankle in posture, training you tripped over your own sandal. Don't ask. She wraps it carefully and hands you a little square of something sweet. Chew this, she says, for pain. You don't ask what's in it. You just chew, and then there are the eunuchs. They don't speak much. They wear simple clothes and always seem to know where to be. They keep the halls in order. They watch the gates. They bring messages and scrolls and trays of fruit at just the right moment. They're the quiet glue holding everything together. One day you pass one in the corridor, a tall, older man with soft eyes and a scar on his temple. You accidentally drop your hair ribbon. He picks it up, hands it to you and bows. Just a little. He says nothing, just smiles. For some reason, that moment stays with you. You start to see the harem not as a cage, but as a living thing breathing, thinking, full of its own secret systems. Everyone has a role. Every role has layers. It's not just the Pharaoh's playroom. It's a whole hidden world. And as you learn more, your thoughts begin to change too. At first, you were just trying to survive. Get through the lessons, walk without wobbling, avoid embarrassing yourself at dinner. Now, you start to imagine what could be. You sit in the shade of a fig tree and imagine being invited to serve at a royal banquet. Not just stand at the back and fan flies away, but actually be there, maybe even speak. You imagine someone important asking your name. You imagine saying it with pride. Some nights, while brushing your hair in front of the little copper mirror, you think, what if I write poems for the queen? What if they read my words in the temple scrolls someday? One of the older girls, Rahera, reads poetry from a scroll one afternoon. You're sitting with the others, pretending to rest, but every word she says sinks deep into you. She reads about stars and longing, and how power can live behind a smile. You don't say anything at the time, but later that night, when the moon is high, you sneak a piece of linen from the laundry basket and scratch a line into it with a bit of charcoal. You write, she speaks like silver falling in water. You fold it up and tuck it into the corner of your mat. It's a tiny thing, but it makes your heart race. You don't know if anyone will ever read it. You just know it felt right to write it. Days go by and the rhythm of harem life starts to feel normal. Wake up, stretch, eat something sweet with dates in it. Training, music, etiquette, sitting quietly. Walking gracefully, more posture, more oil. But even within the routine, you start to notice shifts. The older girls don't look at you the same way anymore. One of them layly asks your opinion during a music lesson. Just casually, but still, that's something. A priestess stops you in the hallway and tells you your blend of perfume smells well, balanced, which is priestess, speak for not bad, kid. You get assigned to help arrange flowers for a small ritual, not a major one. just something for the kitchen gods. But you get to stand near the sacred corner while the incense burns, and that feels like a win. You and Seema start spending your evenings on the roof garden, lying back on the cushions and watching the stars come out one by one. Do you ever think, she asks one night, about what comes next, after this? You shrug. Sometimes, like, what if one of us actually gets chosen to attend a real royal event, or gets noticed by the Queen? You pause. I used to just want to get through the week. You say, now I think, maybe I want to be someone. Seema is quiet for a second. Then she says, yeah, same. You lie there, side by side, staring up. The stars here are the same stars as home, but somehow they shine brighter over the palace. Maybe it's the altitude, maybe it's the ambition. There's one girl, Ane, who speaks 4 languages. She came from a noble house far south and has already served foreign visitors twice. She's teaching herself diplomacy, actual diplomacy. At night, you sometimes hear her practicing greetings in different tongues. There's another, Maya, who sings like honey poured over fire. Her voice is so rich it makes people stop whatever they're doing and just listen. She hasn't even been here a full year, and already she's been sent to perform in the outer palace garden for a banquet. Then there's you, still learning, still walking the line between being seen and staying invisible, but now you know something you didn't know before. The harem isn't just a holding pen, it's a forge. You either melt in the heat, or you get stronger. Some girls dream of love, of being the Pharaoh's favorite, of being lifted from their room into a life of silk and gold. Others, and maybe you're one of them, dream of influence, of writing words that last, of whispering advice that changes history. No one talks about that part out loud, but you can feel it in the way the older girls speak, the way the priestesses pause when they look at you, the way one quiet smile can shift a room. There's power here. It just wears perfume instead of armor. You don't know yet where you'll end up. You're still just a girl from a riverside village with dreams scrawled in charcoal on linen scraps. But you're learning, watching, preparing, and one day, maybe you'll be more than just a name on a scroll. Maybe you'll be a whisper they remember. You hear his name before you ever see his face, whispers mostly. Sometimes from girls brushing their hair in the courtyard, sometimes from the older ones who speak just loud enough to be overheard. But always the same word, Pharaoh, not the king, not his majesty, just Pharaoh. Like a shadow moving through the background of your life, always out of reach. At first it's just stories. He walks like a god, but faster. One girl says during Perfume class, dabbing oil behind her ear. He doesn't speak unless he wants something done, and when he does speak, even the cats stop moving, says another, eyes wide. A few claim they've seen him. One says she caught a glimpse of him riding past the harem garden, golden cape trailing behind him like sunlight. Another insists she saw him once during a blessing ceremony, standing so still it looked like time had frozen around him. You're not sure what to believe. It's all a little too perfect. The way they talk about him, you'd think he was carved out of marble and dipped in honey. No flaws, no stumbles, not even a cough or a sneeze. He probably doesn't even blink. Seema jokes one night as you both peel dried fruit on the terrace. His eyelids are too royal. You laugh, but deep down you wonder. What kind of man rules the world around you? Without ever being seen, the Pharaoh is everywhere and nowhere. His name is on the scrolls. His face is on every painted wall and gold coin. His voice, though, you've never heard it. His footsteps, you've never followed them. He's more myth than man. Still, things start to shift once your house is assigned to temple observation duty. Sounds boring. It's not. It means you'll attend a small ritual at one of the palace's sacred chambers. Just to observe, not participate, not speak, not move too much. Basically, look pretty and be quiet. You've gotten good at that. The ritual is for Ra, the sun god, and it happens once every new moon, which feels a bit ironic, but you don't ask questions. You wake up early that day, nerves buzzing under your skin. Your teacher, Nefara, inspects your robe. She adjusts your sash 3 times and dabs something flowery under your jaw. She doesn't say much, but you can tell she's watching you more closely than usual. Keep your eyes open, she says, but not too open. You nod like you understand what that means. You don't. The temple is part of the larger palace, but it's off to the side half, hidden behind a curtain of vines and high stone walls. When you walk through the gates, the air changes. It smells of lotus, frankincense, and something sharp that tickles your nose. Everything is quiet, like the walls are listening. You walk in single file with the other girls. Some are whispering, some are silently panicking. You try to look calm and almost manage it, until you catch a glimpse of the crowd gathering near the altar. There's a space up front, an open one, and standing in it, just barely visible through the mist of burning herbs, is him, the Pharaoh. You freeze. You don't mean to. Your body just sort of forgets how to function. It's not fear exactly, it's something else, something heavier, like standing in front of a mountain and realizing it might talk back. You can't see his whole face, not clearly. There's too much smoke, too much movement. But you can make out his silhouette. He's tall, but not ridiculously so, broad-shouldered, wearing the kind of robes no one else in the entire world could pull off, white with gold lining and that striped headpiece you've seen painted on temple walls. The way he stands is what gets you, perfectly still, not stiff, just settled, like nothing could move him unless he wanted to be moved, like the whole temple could catch fire and he'd still be standing there, arms crossed, waiting for someone to explain themselves. A priest starts chanting. The Pharaoh raises his hand, not a big gesture, just a flick of the wrist, but the entire room shifts. Servants move, guards bow, the chanting deepens, and you can't breathe. You've never seen power before, not like this, not in motion, not real, and now that you have, your whole idea of the world feels small. They keep the ritual short, mostly prayers and smoke, no speeches, no dancing, just symbols and offerings and heat. You stand in the 3rd row, watching quietly, feet aching, mouth dry, but eyes locked on the center. The Pharaoh doesn't speak once, but somehow you still feel like he says something. You wonder if he noticed you. That's the funny part, right? There are dozens of girls here, dozens more in other houses, but your mind convinces you that maybe, just maybe, his eyes passed over your face for half a heartbeat. Seema says the same thing later. He looked right at me. She insists as you both walk back from the temple, still glowing with excitement. I felt it, I swear. You don't argue, you just smile. Maybe he did. But whether he saw you or not, you saw him, and that changes something. The girls in the harem start talking more. The air shifts. There's more competition in the hallways, more whispering in the corners. Some of the older girls are suddenly a little sharper, a little colder. You notice a girl named Zilla practicing her flute alone at night. Again and again, same melody, flawless. Another girl starts wearing her sash differently, higher on the waist, more elegant. The perfume classes become war zones. Everyone wants the scent that gets noticed. You'd think all this would scare you off, but honestly, it kind of lights a fire in you. You're still not sure what you want, exactly. But now at least you know it's something. That night, lying on your mat, you replay the ritual in your head over and over. The gold, the incense, the way he moved like the air bent around him. You try to remember every detail, his shoulders, the shape of his hand, the way the priest waited for his gesture before speaking. You can't stop thinking about how everyone shifted when he lifted a single finger. You whisper to Seema, if he can do all that with a hand, imagine what a full sentence would do. She laughs under her blanket. You think he writes love poems in secret. You grin in the dark, maybe, or death threats in rhyme. The next day, your dance teacher seems more serious. She corrects your footwork 5 times in 1 hour. You barely pass the music quiz. Etiquette class turns into a debate over the proper bow angle for different gods. It's exhausting, but your mind is clearer now. You know the Pharaoh exists. You've seen him. He's not a ghost, not just a painting on a temple wall. He's real, and everything in this place moves for him. The girls here aren't just training to be pretty or polite. They're preparing for a life that spins around a single center, and that center is him. But here's the part you're still figuring out. Are you chasing love or power? You're not sure yet. But either way, you want to keep walking toward whatever you saw in that temple. There's something about the way everyone moves that tells you this day is different. The halls feel tighter. The air smells stronger, like someone accidentally spilled an entire jar of perfume into the water pots. Servants walk a little faster, their heads bowed lower, and the girls are buzzing. You don't get told why, not at first. You just notice the signs, silk robes being steamed over hot stones, fresh flowers arriving by the basket load, a box of new coal sticks passed quietly from room to room. One girl spends 20 minutes choosing between 2 pairs of earrings, and they both look exactly the same. Even your teacher, Nefara, wears a different expression today. Normally, she moves like she's floating, calm and steady, but now she's pacing, whispering to the attendants and checking your reflection like a falcon staring down prey. Finally, someone says it out loud, a small presentation, whispers Seema, eyes wide as she powders her nose. Not the whole harem, just one house. You blink us. She nods, then stops nodding and shrugs. Probably, maybe, hopefully not. It turns out, definitely yes, your house of Lotus has been selected for the next offering presentation. No, you're not getting handed to the Pharaoh like a birthday cake. It's more like a showcase, a chance to be seen, maybe remembered, maybe chosen for something. No one says exactly what, which somehow makes it more terrifying. What they do tell you is this: everything matters. Everything: your hair, your walk, the scent you choose, the way you look down or up or not at all, the words you speak, if any, how long you hold a bow. Even the jewelry on your fingers might mean something. You don't know if this is exciting or terrifying. Probably both. Nefara begins the preparation ritual early in the day. She doesn't say much, but her eyes are sharper than ever. First comes the cleansing. You're led to the sacred bath chamber, not the usual one. This one has carvings of goddesses along the walls, and rose petals floating in the water. The air is warm and smells like orange blossom and cardamom. You undress in silence and step into the pool. Attendants gently wash your arms and back with cloths soaked in sweet oils. They sing softly as they work, like lullabies meant for your skin. You want to relax, but your heart's beating like it's trying to break out of your ribs. After the bath, you're wrapped in a long linen robe so thin it feels like a whisper. Then the real work begins. Your skin is scrubbed with salt from the Red Sea, mixed with honey and crushed mint. You never knew honey could sting until today. Then they oil you, slowly, carefully, from your toes to your neck in small circles. Every inch of skin is polished until you shine like sunlight on the Nile. After that, makeup, but not just pretty. Every line, every dot has meaning. A priestess named Muyet sits you in front of a polished copper mirror. She doesn't smile, but she doesn't scowl either. Her hands are gentle. She starts with kohl, black and thick, drawn across your eyes like wings. Not just to make your eyes bigger, but to protect you from evil, from heat, from unwanted attention. You kind of like that part. Then she adds a touch of blue just under the brow bone. Symbol of rebirth, she says. She dabs red onto your cheeks, shaped like petals. Then a small gold dot between your brows. You carry the goddess today. She whispers, no pressure. Then come the perfumes. This is where things get serious. Each girl gets to choose one, but the choices aren't just which smells best. It's more like, what do you want to say? Without talking, there's Blue Lotus, sweet, dreamy, makes you smell like poetry and daydreams. Then frankincense, smoky and mysterious, like you might be planning a revolution in your spare time. then myrrh, deep, earthy, almost spicy, mature, regal. You sniff each one like you're choosing your future. Which, honestly, you kind of are. You go with blue lotus. It reminds you of home, of rivers and sunsets, and besides, you already feel like you're holding your breath. Might as well smell like air. Once scented, you're taken to the jewelry table. Everything sparkles. There are bangles and rings and thin chains meant to wrap around your waist and arms. Nothing too flashy, just enough to catch the light. You're told to pick one accent piece, something that draws the eye without blinding it. You choose a delicate gold earring in the shape of a falcon feather, light, simple, just a little bit bold. Like you, dressed, painted, and perfumed, you're led back to the waiting chamber. Now it's time to wait. And breathe and maybe panic just a tiny bit. You sit with the others in silence, no fidgeting allowed. You're supposed to be calm, graceful, mysterious, but inside you feel like a cat in a basket. Seema leans over and whispers, "I smell like 5 whole gardens. I don't even know if it's legal to smell this good." You smile, but your fingers are clenched tight in your lap. Then the door opens. An attendant steps inside and nods. It's time. You're guided in small groups to the outer temple chamber, the one where offerings are displayed before the royal court. Not the pharaoh directly, not yet, but this is close enough to count. The chamber is cool and lit with tall lamps. The air is thick with incense. You walk in a slow line, past trays of pomegranates, folded linen, and papyrus scrolls. You are part of the offering. You reach your mark and bow. Low, steady, just like they taught you. Then you stand still, not frozen, not stiff, just still, like a statue of yourself, but with better perfume. You don't look around, you don't speak, you just breathe and exist. You feel the gaze of people on the far side of the chamber, advisors, priests, maybe even the pharaoh himself behind that screen. You're not sure, no one says, but the feeling is there, like being watched by the sun. You wonder what they see. A girl from a village, now painted in gold dust and eyeliner, standing like she belongs here, and in a strange way. You kind of do. You realize you're not shaking anymore. You're not scared, just focused, calm. Your mind drifts for a second. You think of your mother braiding your hair by the river, of your cousin stealing figs and blaming you, of the first day you arrived here, nervous and lost. And now you're standing among silk and firelight, wearing the scent of the gods, chosen to represent beauty itself. That's something. Eventually the ritual ends. You're led out slowly, still silent. Once outside the chamber, the girls start whispering again. Some are giddy, some are weeping. One girl faints. It's a lot. But you just feel clear. Later that night you lie awake, the scent of lotus still clinging to your wrist. You don't know if anyone noticed you, or if you'll be remembered, but you know this. You've never felt more you, golden, poised, powerful in silence. You smile in the dark. Next time you think, I'll be ready for more. You always wonder how it happens. The moment someone is chosen, the moment everything changes, you think maybe there's a trumpet, or a scroll delivered by a gold-robed messenger, or at least a nod from someone important. But no, when it happens to you, it starts with a knock. A quiet knock, not even dramatic. You're sitting with the other girls in the upper garden, sipping hibiscus tea, pretending to listen to a story you've already heard 5 times. Then you see a eunuch standing near the archway. He says your name, just your name, calm, gentle, polite. The girls stop talking. You feel them all glance at you, but no one moves. Then someone whispers, "It's your night." And your heart, oh, it flips completely upside down. You're not sure what you feel first. Excitement, fear, a weird floaty kind of disbelief. All of it probably. It hits you all at once and makes your hands feel too big and your legs too wobbly. You follow the eunuch. Quietly, gracefully, or at least you try, down the hallway, past the perfumed chambers, into the part of the palace where the walls start glowing with gold and shadows. This isn't the side of the palace you live in. This is the inner world, the world with carved ceilings and guards who don't blink, the kind of silence that feels heavy. You are taken to a special preparation room. You've never been here before. It smells like sandal, wood and something you can't name, like old magic wrapped in silk. 3 attendants are waiting. They don't smile, but they move gently. One brushes your hair until it shines. Another brings a light robe, barely there, dyed deep indigo with tiny threads of silver. You're not dressed like a girl anymore. You're dressed like a prayer. The last attendant rubs sacred oil on your collarbone and behind your ears. The scent is war, amber and honey, familiar but not comforting. This scent has a purpose. This is for the gods to notice you, she says, voice soft. You want to say something clever or funny, or at least normal, but your mouth is too dry and your thoughts are racing like horses. You nod. Then she hands you a small ring, plain gold, shaped like a sun disk. Wear it when you enter, she says. You do not speak unless spoken to. You do not look directly into his eyes until he allows it. You nod again, then it's time. You walk alone through the corridor. It feels longer than it is. Your feet make no sound. Your heart, however, sounds like a festival drum. Finally, a servant opens the tall wooden doors. You step inside, and there he is, the Pharaoh, sitting on a cushioned bench near a shallow fire pit. Draped in a white robe, his headpiece removed, his hair braided, his feet bare. No crown, no guards, just him, and suddenly, you're not sure what you expected. Maybe something less human, maybe something more terrifying. But he looks like a man, a tired one, not weak, not small, but real, the kind of real that throws everything else out of balance. He glances up as you approach. You bow low, deeper than you've ever bowed before. Your forehead nearly touches the ground. You stay there until you hear the softest sound. His voice, rise. And so you do. He gestures to a cushion beside him. You sit, still not speaking, still not looking too closely. There's a silence, not awkward, not tense, just still. Then he speaks again. What's your name? You say it quietly. He repeats it, slowly, like he's testing the weight of it. It suits you, he says. You nod. You think your heart might be trying to jump out through your ears. There's a cup of wine, a bowl of figs, music playing softly from the next room, the pluck of a lute drifting in like wind through leaves. The Pharaoh leans back and studies the firelight. I don't usually call someone after the first presentation. He says, you don't know what to say, so you don't say anything. That scent. He adds, blue lotus. You nod again. He smiles, just slightly. My mother wore it. You finally look at him, just briefly. His face is different up close, strong, yes, beautiful, yes, but tired, like he's lived 20 lives inside one. And then you realize something. This moment isn't just about beauty, or attraction, or duty. It's about being seen, and maybe he sees you, not just your face. Not just your hair and your painted lips and your carefully chosen perfume. But you, the girl who once dreamed by the river, the one who scratched poems onto scraps of linen, the one who watched stars from the rooftop, wondering what power felt like. Now you're sitting beside it. And it feels lonely, not in a sad way, just in a big, heavy, quiet way. He talks for a little while, about nothing and everything, about a dream he had, about the last eclipse, about how the palace cats keep escaping into the scroll room. You laugh softly, carefully. He looks at you, not like a god, like a man who wants to remember what it feels like to be real. Then the moment changes. His voice lowers. The music fades. He reaches out and gently touches your wrist. Not rough, not demanding, just a touch, and suddenly all the lessons come back to you. The posture, the breath control, the look of grace under pressure. You shift closer, and for a little while you stop thinking. There's no fear, no stage, no perfect pose to strike, just warmth. You don't know how long you stay there. Time slips sideways, the fire crackles. You whisper things you didn't know were inside you. He listens. He touches your cheek. There's a kind of intimacy in that moment that's more than physical. It feels old, like something written in a scroll you haven't read yet. Later, much later, when the lamps burn low and the room grows cool, you rest your head against his arm and hear his breathing even out. He's asleep, and you lie there wondering what this night means. Spiritually, it's supposed to be sacred. The Pharaoh is seen as divine, a living god. Being chosen by him is like being chosen by the gods themselves. But now, lying beside him, he doesn't feel like a god. He feels like someone trying to carry too much, someone who wanted company more than worship. Socially, that's another storm. Some girls think this night means you've arrived, that you'll now be favored, moved to better quarters, whispered about in corridors. Others think it's just the beginning, just the first page in a very complicated book. Emotionally, you're not even sure how to explain it. You didn't fall in love, but you felt something deep, heavy, soft, like the first real chapter in a story that has your name printed on it in gold. Eventually, an attendant returns. You slip away before sunrise. Dressed in silence, walking through halls that feel different now. The scent of amber still lingers on your skin. Your hair is tangled, your heart is. Quieter, you lie in your bed that morning, eyes open, staring at the ceiling. No one says anything, but everyone knows, and for once you don't need to explain. You've touched the center of the world, and the world touched back. After a night like that, you'd think everything would be easier, that maybe the world would bow a little softer, or that you'd get a private throne made just for you. Nope, welcome to the harem. That's right, the place where secrets aren't just stories whispered behind fans, they're weapons. Where smiles can hide daggers, and the air is thick with ambition and perfume, you start to notice how things shift, not in giant, obvious ways, no royal proclamations or flashing lights. It's in the small things. The way the other girls glance your way, sometimes with admiration, sometimes with something colder, like the Nile in winter. Your status has moved, sure. The presentation before the Pharaoh and that night with him changed things. But in the harem, change is complicated. You're no longer just a girl from the village. You're someone who's been chosen. That word echoes everywhere. It means people watch you more. They listen when you speak. They notice the way you carry yourself, carefully, like a tightrope walker balancing on thin air. But here's the thing, being noticed means you also become a target. Rivalries blossom fast. Some girls are jealous. Others see you as competition. You learn quickly that the harem isn't just about beauty or dancing. It's about power, power wrapped in whispers. It's a game where your smile can open doors, or close them forever. The girls aren't just rivals. They're players in a subtle political game. And trust me, it's more complicated than any scroll you've ever read. There's the young woman, Tia, who's been here longer than most. She wears her experience like a cloak, calm, confident, and a little dangerous. She watches you with eyes that seem to know everything but say nothing. One day, she invites you for tea. You expect an ambush. Instead, she tells you stories, not about gods or kings, about the women here, some triumphant, some tragic. There's Neshemet, who once caught the Pharaoh's eye and used her influence to secure her brother a high priest position. She's smart, ruthless, and never smiles without a reason. Then there's Eisnofret, who was favored for a season, but then fell out of grace. Rumors say she angered the wrong priestess. Now she lives quietly in the outer chambers, a shadow of the woman she was. And there's Amenet. No one talks about her openly. Some say she vanished overnight. Others say the Pharaoh's brother was involved. Her story is a warning wrapped in silence. Tia leans in, her voice dropping to a whisper. In the harem, your greatest weapons aren't your looks. They're your mind and your alliances. That hits you hard. You thought you'd come here to be admired, maybe loved. Instead, you realize you have to be clever. Careful, like a cat stalking through tall grass. You start paying attention, who talks to whom, who laughs at whose jokes, who shares secrets with the eunuchs. Every smile and glance could mean something. The priestesses, too, have their favorites. They hold power you can't see at first, access to healing oils, to sacred knowledge, even to the Pharaoh's ear. One morning you overhear a conversation between two eunuchs. They speak of a plan to promote one girl over another, to bring her closer to the Pharaoh's chamber. You don't know who's behind it, but you understand quickly the game is always moving. It's exhausting. Some nights you dream of the village, the river's calm water, your mother's warm hands. The simplicity of that life feels like a distant memory. But then you remind yourself why you're here. Not just to be a pretty face. To be powerful, to write your own story. You learn to pick your battles. Sometimes that means letting a joke slide. Sometimes it means standing your ground. And sometimes it means finding friends, because allies are everything. There's Seema, who's fierce and loyal. She watches your back when whispers swirl, and Nefara, your teacher, who quietly supports you in ways no one else sees. Together, you form a small circle, a safe harbor in the storm. You talk in hushed tones about dreams, about what might come next, about how to survive and thrive in this glittering, dangerous world. The days pass, each one filled with lessons, secrets, and careful moves. Sometimes you catch yourself smiling, not because the palace is easy, but because you're learning to play the game. You're no longer just a girl from the village. You're a player now, and that changes everything. In the palace, everything has rules. Some rules are obvious. Don't shout in the halls.